In patch 1.7, the next wave of microtransactions are being rolled out in the Division. In order to secure a positive future for the game, we need to put aside our preconceptions and prejudices about corporate greed and embrace the new paradigm so Ubisoft can secure funds to improve the Division and develop the vision of the game we all want to see. In order to achieve this, we must keep open minds and trust that developers like Matthew Higbee have the best interests of the community at heart. We need to trust that it isn't just about the money, it's about the players. We need to trust... Hang on. Matt Higbee. Matt Higbee from Planetside 2.
This is Nanite Ned from Nanite Systems. Are you in the market for a brand new quad, truck, airplane, or gunship?
This is gonna be a brutally honest assessment of Planetside 2.
Look at this brand new Sunderer. This bad boy will get you and your whole fire team to a battle in style. And it's available in a variety of colors.
To say that there's no pay-to-win advantage would be really pushing it.
Low resources? No resources? Well, that ain't no problem. I got my own resource bank. I can finance anybody.
Weapons cost 700 SC, which is $7.
Don't worry, old Ned's got you covered.
$7 for a single gun.
Here at Nanite Systems, we're the exclusive distributor for the all-new 2844 Liberator gunship.
Most all of the weapons look disappointingly identical.
I'll do business with anybody.
Okay, so look at the in-game models here. I mean,
if you're looking for a fight, Nanite.
Do you see a difference?
Low resources?
The difference is so freaking tiny, you can't even tell.
That ain't no problem. I got my own resource bank.
And you want to charge us $7 for each one of these digital guns?
I'll do business with anybody.
No.
I can finance anybody.
They really just look identical.
Low resources?
So $5 on top of $7 for $12.
I'll do business with anybody.
Just to get a different looking gun and the ability to use it.
I can finance anybody. I can finance anybody. I can finance anybody. I can finance anybody.
I wouldn't trust Matt Higbee if the world was flooded with piss and he lived in a fucking tree. Fuck. Well, as usual, a lot's been going on over the last couple of weeks. In-game and out. I dismantled my entire fucking gaming setup and put it back together again, which was a complete fucking nightmare. The good news is, I have a new mic, an Ethernet network, and I can now be shit at gaming on PC, Xbox and PS4. God help us. And if I sound super weird on this video, it's because I haven't worked out the settings for the new mic yet. We also discovered the hard way that pedo-gambling was always being rolled out unchanged, and the pretense of discussion was a smokescreen. Yannick spent an afternoon glue sniffing, and then decided that dragging the monetizer-in-chief Matt Higbee onto State of the Game would make good things happen. I'm not an expert, but I would have assumed that slightly narcissistic salesmen who lack empathy generally don't excel in public relations. But what the fuck do I know? Buzz got his posts about RNG gambling deleted off the forums. Again. But my personal highlight of the week was having an ETF member take to social media to launch a scathing, hateful, personally insulting and slanderous attack on me. Because, well, and I am not kidding here, because he thinks I'm rude. Fucking irony overload. I should also note that Angry Joe's video about Planetside 2 was made in December 2012, and since the company has since been sold off and bought out, I have no clue what the game is like now. But I put a link in the description, so go and check it out for free. So I guess I had better unleash this week's Mega Mix State of the Game mashup. Video game historians will probably spend years theorising about the moment of temporary insanity that resulted in Yannick inviting Matt the Monetizer Higbee on State of the Game. I guess the plan was that Matt would explain everything to us in baby talk and convince us that introducing a gambling minigame would bring about world peace, cure AIDS, give us tummy rubs and wank jobs, and provide free kittens to everyone in the third world, things did not pan out as expected. Matt is best described as the Kaiser Soze of the Division. In all my days I have never seen someone with such a spectacular capacity to talk without actually leaking any facts or answering a straight fucking question. So put your tinfoil beanie hats on and pull bullshit visors down and brace for fucking impact. There is a bullshit storm ahead, ladies and gentle cunts, and it's flying straight at your eyes.
Alright, welcome everyone. Thanks Hamish. I have someone just on my right that you can't see right now. Oh no, you can. Hello! First ever time people see you and you make a weird face. Who's that guy?
I'm Matt Higbee. I'm a game designer here at Massive, broadly speaking responsible for basically try to ensure that the live game experience is healthy, entertaining, and fun for our players.
Let's see what we can blame you for. Welcome to our community, Matt.
Right on! Hey man, I'm here to be blamed.
Quick update on the PTS. Do you think they will give a release date? No, they won't. It's gonna be hopefully August, around mid-August.
And critically, there's still plenty of time for people to get us feedback.
What we want to talk about, and I know that Buzz has been setting the expectation with his teaser video that he just released earlier today. There's been a big debate in the community over the encrypted caches. It's a very big and important discussion to have. So that's actually why we brought Matt here. You know, there's not much transparency as to how the feature actually works. Matt.
Yes.
Let's begin. What are the encrypted caches?
With the encrypted cache, one of our goals was to find a way to put those items in, have them be something, both be monetized. People who do dedicate a lot of time. I think the encrypted cache. And then, of course, there's also the others. You have keys that you can purchase that let you quickly go through and get all of the different items. Really critically, we wanted it to be a very generous. We didn't want it to be something that felt stingy, like it was a nickel and diming. The price for the thing is actually going to be relatively low, especially if you buy like one of the big packs of keys. And you will always be earning more value out of it than you would get if you purchased items from the store. It still is overly generous, though. Or maybe not overly generous. It is.
How is it calculated? What are the chances to get specific items? Like, what are my chances to get that one item that I want?
There's a lot kind of going on under the hood. So it's not purely a flat chance, 36 or 38 or however many slots there are in a roulette Several wheel. Different sort of odds. These odds mechanisms are meant to skew it towards unlocking better items for the player. Each time you get a new item, each time you get one Weeper that has a different set of items in it, that one mechanic boosting the percentage chance that you're going to get a collectible makes it difficult for us to say the exact odds table of all these different items.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
We actually look at the collections, and the collections that you're closer to completing, you want to make it easier for 1 in a million shot. By the time you have a collection, overall standard set of items, there's 4 different rares, kind of common, there's an uncommon, there's a rare, and there's kind of a high end. Those break down, and those remain relatively flat. You go into the standard items pool, and you're not going through any of those mechanisms that are pushing you towards. Then you have a relatively flat distribution of items within those percentage breakdowns in the standard pool. You can actually see probably didn't have the rare completed in the collections that they've made progress on. They're more likely to get the commons and the uncommons in the drop percentages. Built that mechanic specifically to item in your checkbox. Yes. There's 5 total collections, so 3 of them have 5 items in them, 1 of them has 4, 1 of them has 3.
Okay.
And then each one of those gives you 1 piece of the astronaut suit. For this version of the encrypted cache. The rest of the items circulate in and out of the premium, what we call the standard pool of premium vendor items. So all the items that are in the standard pool, so lots of new content coming from the same pool of available items based on how sales are going. We get rid of the ones that aren't selling very well, put new fresh ones on there.
Why did we decide to make the encrypted cache?
One, it's always good to experiment with different business models. And the premium vendor is straightforward, it's easy to understand, but it's also something where players have to interrupt the thing that they're doing. They go out of their way and they're going to a shopping experience. There's some sort of kind of entertainment kind of imbued in the very idea of the mystery box itself. The other answer is that increasing the amount of revenue that we have just in general, that helps us to make the argument that this is a game that warrants continual reinvestment, that really is something that our players are into. We have ideas for different kinds of businesses that we can build off of the base game for them to approve continued investment. As I mentioned earlier, there's kind of a desire to have the progress through the mystery box be guided by the collection. So once you knock out all those collections, you can kind of consider yourself done. If we got rid of dupes, we would end up having to have some other kind of bottomless compensation. Do we have the chat over there? What the hell? I didn't even realize it.
It's very small. Hamish, can you make it bigger? Sorry if it's boring. About the drop rates.
Okay.
Okay? No, one of the concerns. They will see that an item is popular, so they're going to decrease the drop rate, so they're going to make more money out of people trying to get it.
Right. We may change the drop rates for categories overall. This particular rare item, this one, is now 1 billion to 1 shot. But we don't want to do that.
It's a perfect segue.
All right.
It's amazing. It's almost as if we rehearsed it, but we actually didn't, so that's perfect.
Amazing. We actually just boosted the rate on named NPCs to 20%. They're also attached to a lot of commendations.
So 5 to 10 hours to get a key.
So we are beholden to the RNG gods still.
All right, so I'm kind of done with my notes here. So now let's just take a minute to look at chat. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, that's fine. You can chill for a minute.
Cool.
I'll try to get good questions.
Good luck.
No, lag is something we're looking at.
Every week we have several different live operations. We are looking at what are the big issues that players are talking about right now. Our game is like a big armored truck. And over time, you're patching the armor and you're adding more stuff to it. You're trying to protect it from, shit, now they're shooting at us with rocket launchers. We need to cover the tires with this. They're constantly patching and adding more things to fix problems with the game. And it ends up making it heavier and heavier and heavier across the bridge. And it's hard to balance those two priorities at once.
Yeah.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Part of having an entertaining game is having a game that works really well and works consistently and isn't laggy. You just didn't have the data. Hell yeah! This guy.
He did say he was going to make it super awkward and cringy.
Nope. And these questions suck.
No PTS4, unless we change our mind.
They want Hamish and Yannick masks.
Yeah. You suck.
All right.
Thanks, guy. Matty said you suck.
Nah, he was talking about you. It's over for this game. What? State of the game sucks. State of the game rules, dude. What are you talking about? This is entertainment. This is entertainment. What more could we do? What more could we do? How can we make this better? Let's figure it out. How can we make State of the Game not suck? Let's make it be the most entertaining stream that we can make it be.
Fix the game.
thinking like start flipping some of the set over and smash some of this.
Don't trash it. All right, I think guys, you can go now. It's just gonna be Matt just like going nuts.
All right.
State of the game doesn't suck.
See?
What's your favorite pizza?
What do you guys think? This is my last show, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. It's been a journey. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys, and civil in a way, because we shot some people, probably triggered others. You can insult us, we're used to it, but don't, insult each other. That's not cool. And we'll see you next week.
Well, that went well. I can't decide which part was funnier. The bit where Yannick was wringing his hands and doing a 1,000-yard stare, desperately trying to maintain a smile but clearly one cunt hair away from going full berserker mode on Matt, or the bit just afterwards when he told Matt to fix the fucking game. To me, getting Matt on State of the Game felt like desperately waiting for a team of emergency trauma surgeons to turn up, but then a fucking pharmaceutical sales rep arrives instead. Sadly, we got 45 minutes of finely crafted sales pitch and none of the information we've requested. No percentage drop rates, but lots of emotional reassurance. And Mr. Higby managed to insult the community twice and had to take to Reddit to try and smooth things over. Apparently the Twitch chat was super triggering and he got all discombobulated and this caused some kind of Tourettic attack. Twice. I think Matt might be telling us porky pies though, because he didn't even notice the cunting chat screen until 27 minutes into State of the Game, and even then, he mostly ignored it. I think it's much more likely he just thinks we're a bunch of dicks, and didn't hide it very well. Look, I'm not saying Matt is shit at his job, in fact, quite the opposite. But his job is to screw as much money out of the player base as humanly, or inhumanely, as possible. His job is not to give a shit about us, which he clearly doesn't. He is a monetizer and a salesman, and his job is to report back to his corporate overlords carrying bundles of cash, and not to give two fucks about who gets hurt in the process. We thought he was there to explain encrypted caches, but in his head, he was there to sell them. Hence, all the evasive answers and lack of fucking facts. So what facts did we glean about encrypted caches? Well, not many. We got random unconnected facts, but never factual information so we can work out basic shit like percentage drop rates, which he was asked not once, but twice to provide. So here we go. Within the standard set of items there are 4 different rarity tiers, but I'm not exactly sure what a non-standard set is. I can only assume he means the collectibles. Tier 1, high-end items, 3% of the total loot table. Tier 2, rare items, 7% of the total loot table. Tier 3, uncommon, 30% of the total loot table. Tier 4, common items, 60% of the total loot table. Exactly what those terms mean is a mystery. There are 5 total collections, 5, 5, 5, 4 and 3 in each group, 22 in total. Loot, 30% of items are unique to the pedo caches. I can only assume that most of these items will be along the lines of 30 variations of the same fucking shoe with slightly different shade of skin. Most of the items are current, past and a few future premium vendor items. Items in this pool will be rotated every few weeks, backsliding your progress. An algorithm allegedly slightly points you towards finishing collections, if it works. The percentage drop rates are being constantly manipulated for each specific player. We are supposed to take it on faith this is fair, equitable and fucking even working. No disrespect, but players are aware of how regularly the loot algorithms fuck up in this game, like getting 3 pecans in a row from a weekly mission on 3 different characters. What the fuck? That's a 1 in 8,000 chance, I believe. Nobody trusts the basic algorithms. How the fuck are we expected to trust complex algorithms which are player specific with our money and have zero accountability? I asked Matt for a diagram of the whole thing as he described it in State of the Game. Let's just say I'm not shocked that I've not heard back. You need to cap all the collectibles to get the spacesuit. We have no clue how much loot is in the overall loot table. Key fragment rates were raised from 3% to 20%, which is a good thing, but that also means that's basically raising it from absolutely fuck all to very, very shitty drop rates. The target is 1 key every 10 hours max. You will require hundreds of keys to complete everything, and every 2 weeks they're going to swap out the common items with fresh stuff, backsliding your progress. Capping everything will likely require thousands of hours of play. The return rate on duplicates is 9 fragments on 10, so they basically take 10% off the top, exactly like a fruit machine. There is no compensation or refunds, there will be no transparency over loot tables, and it's been announced by Amper Camper on the official forums that this is just the first of multiple waves of monetization throughout the game. It's vaguely disturbing that this discussion is being smugly pronounced as resolved on State of the Game, and several ETF members have declared on social media that Matt Higbee has, quote, cleared everything up. Well, how did he? And what is resolved? Please tell me. I pored over that State of the Game like a fucking CIA analyst, and the one fucking thing he didn't give us were any answers to our questions. Without knowing how many items are in the loot table, how do you know what the drop rates are? Even if you reckon you know, everything is controlled and adjusted by a hidden algorithm. So, how do you know what the drop rates are? Nothing Matt Higbee said in any way counters any concerns about diminishing returns, the fact that it's a gambling minigame, or the fact that it's designed to extract as much fucking cash out of the players as humanly fucking possible. If you don't believe me, get out a pen and a pad, watch that State of the Game again, and write down any actual facts he gives you. Just because he says 30% of items are tier 3 doesn't mean anything. We don't know what uncommon means, we don't know how many items are in tier 3, so how the fuck do you know what the drop rate for the collections are? There could be 50 items in tier 3, there could be 1,000. In fact, if you don't believe me, use your common fucking sense. If the encrypted caches were about giving shit to the players, it would be called a charity initiative. Of course it's about screwing money out of the players, that's why they refer to it as a monetization strategy. Having a sales guy talk for an hour about generosity, rewarding player experiences, and entertainment did not clear it up. If you think it did, you are either lying or an idiot. Where are the fucking percentage drop rates? When talking about encrypted caches, all we got was vague impressions. Pretty high is not a fucking number. Rare is not a fucking number. Boost is not a fucking number. Relatively standard is not a fucking number. A little bit is not a fucking number. At one point he justifies encrypted caches on the basis that the premium vendor interrupts the player experience and forces them into a shopping experience. What a bag of utter cock. The encrypted caches are sold by a fucking premium vendor about 20 yards away in exactly the same way, but premium credits. It's no fucking different. This is just fluff and bullshit. Watch the State of the Game again, and I mean really watch it. An important consideration when discussing the encrypted caches is this. Everyone with an ounce of fucking sense, a wallet, and this game should go and Google economic psychology. It's basically the study of how people use emotions, and not maths, to make really fucking terrible decisions with money. I think Matt knows a lot about this subject, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he uses emotional language and not numbers to reassure us about the gambling. A very crucial scientific result of economic psychology is this. People generally are very cautious when it comes to risking losing their cash, but once emotionally and psychologically invested, and once they have already lost a bit of money, people engage in increasingly high-risk strategies to try and recoup their losses. It's a core principle behind gambling addiction, rogue traders, and strangely enough, in-game gambling mini-games. I fucking reckon this live development team know all about economic psychology, and they have studied it in depth. It's not an accident that he is trying to induce trust in the gambling mechanism, knowing damn well that if we invest a little bit, lose our money, and win some crap, some of us will get sucked in and throw good money after bad. He is sweating economic psychology out of every fucking pore of his body. This is what it fucking is. A gambling minigame designed to get you to buy 200 pairs of fucking shoes you don't want until that distant lucky day when you get the spacesuit or the Beats headphones. Who gives a fuck if it's generous if it's giving you lots of tossy crap items you don't want? It's a fucking trick to make people spend a ton of cash on stuff that is mostly shit. It is what it fucking is, to paraphrase Popeye. In 3 to 6 months' time, there will be a meeting at a Ubisoft office about the profitability of these pedo caches. There will be a presentation with pictures of the most desired vanity items in the division, like the spacesuit, the Beats headphones, and shit like that. Under each item, there'll be the price, the dollar cash value that players have spent on average to get those rare items, and everyone in the room will be laughing, and they'll be fucking laughing at us. Would you pay $10 for that spacesuit from a vendor? Maybe. $20? Well, most people would say no. Do you think the number under the spacesuit will be anything like $20 in that meeting? Do you think people are going to be buying 20 fucking caches and bang, spacesuit? Will they fuck? In that meeting in the future, the number under the spacesuit is going to be a fucking huge number. It's going to be hundreds of fucking dollars, maybe even a large 3-figure sum. Only a fucking crazy fool would knowingly spend $100 on that spacesuit, but lots of players are going to end up spending a fuck ton more money than that trying to get it. That is why Matt won't mention numbers, and only wants to talk about warm, cuddly feelings. If anyone listening to this ends up being one of those people in that meeting in the future, looking at the figure under the vanity items and thinking, holy fuck, that's a lot of money that kids are spending on this crap, didn't we do a good job? Well, you're a shit person, and deep down, I think you know that really. I will undoubtedly come under fire again for being a big meanie and saying mean things about Matt and pedo-gambling and giving people boo-boos in some barely concealed attempt to try and deflect the debate away from the bullshit concerned and steer the argument towards my manners and other nonsense that doesn't fix the game. But let's take a look at what happened. He came on stage of the game and described pedo-gambling exactly like we were concerned about, only he used lots of buzzwords like health and generosity and positive player experience. He said the questions being asked by the community sucked, threatened to trash the state of the game studio, and was such a fucking arsehole that even Yannick started to grit his teeth and eventually slapped him down by telling him to fix the game. It's still a manipulated loot table. It's still shit value for money. It still has no compensation or refunds. It's still totally secretive. It's still fucking gambling. It's exactly the same RNG loot cache rip-off we thought. And if you fell for his sales pitch, he's made a mug out of you. And if you think I'm a hate mongerer for calling bullshit on this, then you've made a fucking mug out of yourself too. Shit covered in glitter and wrapped in a ribbon is still shit. Grow up. And if any motherfucker says to me one more time, you can't say mean things about Matt because we met him at the ETF and he's my bestie, then you will be sent to bed without your teddy bear for being a silly, silly fucking boy. Matt just spent an hour telling us about drop rates in a gambling minigame and didn't tell us a single fucking drop rate. Not one. If you say that's being fair and honest to the players, then you're either a mug or getting paid. My message to all the fanboys marauding the forums and social media, chugging down corporate cock and trying to tell everyone this system is fair and free and easy to cap. Run the fucking maths. One free key takes up to 10 hours. If you took all the loot out of the fucking loot table and only left the 22 collectible items that form the sets, and it was guaranteed that you never ever got a duplicate, it would still take you just over 7 days to get them playing 10 hours a day. Just giving you the fucking items one at a time would require about 70 hours of play. Now throw in 200 to 400 more items into the loot pool, randomise the whole fucking process, add duplicates, confiscate 10% of the key every time you get a duplicate, and every 2 weeks pull out some of the shit items and backfill more random crapola to pad out the RNG. if it would take 70 hours of solid farming just to give you the fucking things one at a time, how the fuck do you think you're going to cap that shit now? Don't take my word for it. Don't take Matt Higby's word for it. Do the fucking maths yourself. As Elite Gunner rightly pointed out, on average, most people buying the caches to get the Beats headphones will pay more than the actual fucking headphones cost in real life. Think about that next time you're talking about value for money. Seriously, think about this. If you want a pair of Beats headphones, go out and buy a real pair of fucking Beats headphones to wear while you're playing the Division. It will most likely be cheaper. I can't spell this out for you any fucking more clearly. The encrypted caches are a mechanism precisely designed to not give you the shit you want, so you pay a lot of money in vain. This would be a perfect time to apply a little fucking science to the situation. Let's transpose this delivery mechanism into some real life scenarios and see how it fares. You are a military unit fighting on a hilltop in Afghanistan. You're running low on ammo and call for supplies. A Black Hawk helicopter lands and Matt fucking Higby jumps out. Instead of ammo, he delivers a random supply crate. It might be ammo. It might be a box of army boots, a box of cooking equipment, or one of 100 other crates you don't fucking want. Does that feel like a reliable delivery system to you? I guess that's why the military don't use the loot crate system, right? Another example. You catch AIDS and go to your doctor in urgent need of antivirals. But monetizing Matt comes out in a white lab coat with a random medical loot crate. It might be antivirals. It might be aspirin. It might be a box of fucking tampons. I guess that's why they don't use the loot crate system in fucking hospitals. You can see where I'm going with this. There is a reason the military, hospitals, or any other organisation that reliably needs things delivered don't use loot crates. They don't use loot crates because nobody would ever get the fucking thing they needed or wanted or paid for. Before you steal your mum's credit card and start hammering it on the pedo caches, please consider the wise advice another player shared with me this week. This is what you think you'll look like. This is what you'll actually look like. It's a £300 spacesuit for fuck's sake. It's not exactly combat clothing. And every cunt is going to know you're wearing an adult nappy under that thing. If the Division is really so obsessed with the player power fantasy, why the fuck are they giving us loot crates? Unless the power fantasy is some washed up old granny in Vegas blowing her month's pension money on the blackjack tables. Fuck. So what is the big picture here? Well, monetizing Matt is now running the show at the Division. A guy so obsessed with monetization that he charges himself 2 cents a tug when he's having a wank. Personally, I would find it debasing and humiliating if every time I cracked one out, it cost me 24 cents. When it comes to the integrity of this game, you might as well just consider Matt Higby as the grim fucking Reaper. He is not here for me, you, Yannick, Hamish, this game, or the reputation of the brand. He, and people like him, are here precisely for one reason: to extract as much fucking money as possible out of this game before Vivendi buy out the CEO of Ubisoft. Lieutenant Buzz Lightbeer made a very pertinent point in one of his videos that relates strongly to all of this. Vivendi is driving to buy up enough stock to take over Ubisoft by the end of the year. I personally think we're now seeing a fire sale on the integrity of the company. The doomsday clock is ticking on Ubisoft's independence, and by their own admission, Ubisoft is going to focus on reducing their investments in new content to zero, whilst maximising every fucking avenue for extracting money out of existing products and customers. Everything is now about Ubisoft trying to conjure money out of thin air, so the billionaire company owner can retain control of his billion-dollar empire. I have no problem with this, as long as there is something in it for us. Why should we help bail him out if there isn't something in it for us? That's how capitalism works, right? Sadly, I've seen a much darker tone developing in the game recently, which is undoubtedly connected to all of this monetization. I've seen ETF members and their entourage patrolling social media like fucking thought police. some quite malicious attacks on content creators who dare to question the pedo-gambling, and I'm sure I'm not the only person receiving abusive DMs telling me to back off from the issue. Disturbingly, and for the second time now, someone has completely sidestepped the community managers and censored Buzz Lightyear, and thankfully Yannick has stepped in again to unfuck the situation. I'm going to reserve judgment for now, but the question has already been asked whether there is a low-level dirty tricks campaign underway. Let's just say we have spotted the Smurf accounts being thrown up over the last fortnight, being used to troll critics of the monetization. Seriously, if you are that passive-aggressive that you need to hide behind a fake account to grief people online, it's probably best if you just show us on the doll where the bad man touched you, and then go and get some counselling. I mean, seriously. The other implication of all of this is that everyone from ETF Charlie have apparently met Matt before. So I suppose that this encrypted caches nonsense slid past them without so much as a squeak of protest. If any ETF members objected, I would love to hear your feedback in the comments or by private DM. And by the way, anyone claiming that microtransactions are going to save us from a pay-to-win model, well, you smoke too much crack. This is yet another example of a fake threat being created in order to justify what's going on. My overall impression is that this is all coming down from the top of the company. The money men are running the show, and the CMs are doing their best to work around the issues, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. I also think it was pretty fucking dirty that there's been a very public narrative about the pedo-gambling and how we're all going to have a big discussion about it and listen to feedback. Then I discovered that the final build of 1.7 was already submitted, and even if it wasn't, no changes are going to be made to pedo-gambling, whatever the fuck anyone says or thinks about it. This was all a lost cause before we started, and whilst they may have listened, there was never any intention to act. It was all bullshit. Going by their own public announcements, Ubisoft is going to continue to monetize more and more aspects of the division indefinitely. And using my crystal ball, and by checking out a few CVs on the internet, it's pretty fucking clear that the division is going to move towards some variant of a free-to-play business model. Don't be surprised if financial payments are linked to XP rewards and general loot tables and other aspects of the game in 1.8. I also wish people would stick the whole blackmail narrative up their arses and staple the hole closed. This argument that we need to make money to support the game is nonsense. This game made profit. They need to honour their promises. The monetization is about shareholdings and vivendi. So don't make out that anyone who dislikes the pedo-gambling is jeopardising the future of the division. These are false threats, designed to paint people in a negative light if they disagree with loot crates. Defences for microtransactions like, we need to support the game, are a little bit dishonest, and you'll think the same when you do the maths. This game was budgeted on the basis of players buying the game and covering the cost of the servers. Millions of people bought the game, most of which don't fucking play anymore. By conservative estimates, for every person that is now still playing the game and using server resources, there are 20 people who paid full whack for the game and stopped playing. It would be logical to assume that even if Ubisoft planned to abandon the game after 1 year, for every player still playing, there is the budgeted cash to support the servers on the 5 to 10% of the people left for the next decade. For every one of us still playing, there are 20 fucking players who paid full price for the game and fucked off. At the risk of sounding like a broken fucking record, just get some anti-cheat, fix the cunting chicken dance, make the fucking servers work, and put the fucking dumbass spacesuit in the premium vendor. But no, despite being a simple and elegant solution, this won't happen. Because it costs money to do the things you promise, and it won't screw $500 out of kids. I guess I had better get the weekly vendor reset done before monetizing Matt decides to turn fast travel into a fucking microtransaction and we have to run everywhere like a bunch of cunts. The word on the street is that in 1.8 we're going to have to buy a book of bus tickets in the premium vendor, and every time we fast travel we have to pay 50 cents. Okay, I made that up, but I guarantee even worse is going to happen over the next year. The hub vendor. Fuck all, as usual. But don't be surprised if in patch 1.8 they turn this into a fucking casino. Now I realise why they won't let us use our guns in the base of operations. The special equipment vendor. That historian is not a total cup of cold vomit for PvE. It will certainly be perfect for shooting Laurie Barrett and her smug chops. The base of operations recipe vendor. The AK-47 recipe is worth getting. I would also recommend the Super 90. With the sausage getting arse-banged in 1.7, the Super 90 will be one of the only shotguns left that hasn't been nerfed into fucking oblivion. I guess the Cassidy hasn't been nerfed, but that gun's a bag of fuck already. Nerfing the Cassidy would be like pissing on a sleeping tramp. Its existence is already sad enough. A bit of extra piss isn't even going to be noticed. Advanced weapon vendor. Fuck all. Got any lottery tickets, mate? Base of operations weapon vendor. Fuck all. Have you started selling scratch cards yet? Base of operations gear vendor. Fuck all. Appearance vendor. A hat. Perfect for duck hunting. Fuck, it's free cosmetics. Best grab it before they start charging me $10 for the shit in here. Base of operations dark zone gear vendor. A pretty decent set of accomplished knee pads. Not that it matters. Anyone who spends $250,000 DZ credits on a pair of yellow knee pads is a bigger idiot than me. And I'm a fucking cretin. Wolves Den. Fuck all at the vendor. But this place has incredible potential for being converted into a bingo hall. Autumn's Hope. Accomplished knee pads. Roll plus XP on them and save yourself $250,000 DZ credits. Dante's Run. A random selection of crap. Fancy a quick game of blackjack? Kerman Station. Fuck all. Depressed Joe is depressed. He just spent $400 on his mum's credit card and still hasn't got the shitty spacesuit. Don't worry, mate. It would make you look like a dick anyway. The Cavern. 3% damage to elites electronics mods. And my secret stash of salt. I get through about 4 sacks of this shit every news dump. Camp Hudson's weapon vendor. A gormless cunt that stands there all day staring at the horizon. Camp Hudson gear vendor. Healing speed support station mods. Meat locker. A basic extended mag. We could get about 30 slot machines in here. Madison stand. Awesome electronics and skill power mods. I'll be loading up on these cunts, grabbing a one-shot Seeker mine in my grubby mitt and fisting it up people's asses in last stand. Last call. A vector. We should get rid of that pool table and put in a fucking roulette wheel. The ward. Everyone in the division should make a pilgrimage to the ward this week to see the worst stamina mod in the history of the game. Come here, take a selfie. Just don't buy it. There's also some stamina plus XP mods. Southpaw. Fuck all. Oh well, at least the ammo restock is still free. For now. The Grindhouse. A rather tasty vector. Change adept for deadly for the crit damage. That's a nice shield build SMG or high-end build. Mr.Sn0wBaaalL told me to say that, so it looks like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Which I don't. The Firewall. A hipster. And some random toss. Mind you, it's a perfect venue to set up an online gambling business. The Crypt. Fuck all. Oh, I see Matt Higby is here trying to persuade another child to gamble his pocket money away on some shit-ass con. Don't trust him, kiddo. If that strange man comes to talk to you, don't invest in his pyramid scheme for fuck's sake. So let's wind this up. I would like once again to give my heartfelt thanks to all the ladies and gentle cunts for their show of support on Reddit, especially Bluesdemise from the DZPD, Flat Tire Hustle Bus and Vlamenzi, and everyone's patience when it comes to the last few weeks. Put it this way, even other people were contacting me to say what a kind and thoughtful show of support it was, and I thank you all. And by the way, ill-formed, I will answer your question, but I will do so in my next video. Things are not quite how you perceived them, but this is a story for another day. Sadly, the mighty Matt Shotger has moved on to pastures new and has been replaced with Mini Matt in the form of Amper Camper. I know there is a sweepstake going on about what he looks like in real life, and all I'm going to say is that in the naked pics he sent me, he does indeed look a little bit like Fabio. Be gentle with him, he's new, and you can bet your fucking arse he had no idea what he was signing up for when he accepted this job. I would like us to give Matt Shotcher our heartfelt thanks for everything he has done for the community. I know not everyone sees eye to eye with him, and sure, he definitely had his moments, but on the whole, he tried to play it as straight as he fucking possibly could, and genuinely cared about the community. Good luck, and all the best, Matt, and thanks for everything. Oh, and by the way, if you want reliable notifications of when the dump gets dumped, what you need to do is click on the little bell next to the sub button. The YouTube algorithms these days do not reliably notify you just because you are subscribed. Only the other day I realised that Buzz had a video out and I got 0 notifications. Click the bell, don't rely on the algorithm to work. There seems to be a bit of a theme developing here about algorithms. So, the doomsday clock is ticking, what can I say? Read the signs, guys. Half the ETF have abandoned any pretense that they are here to represent the community and are stomping around social media trying to silence or troll anyone that criticises the pedo-gambling. A monetization specialist has been moving to put a price tag on everything in the game, and long-standing staffers are shipping out to other projects. Look, when Yannick turns around to a developer on State of the Game, grits his teeth and says, "Fix the game," it's time to recognise that the doomsday clock has started ticking. I said I would stay on this ship until it goes down, and I'm going to keep my word. But let's be honest with ourselves. The incoming waves of monetization have already caused some people to quit the game. So let's enjoy it while it lasts, but keep one eye on the lifeboats. Oh, and patch 1.7 comes out on the 15th of August, so start saving up your pocket money. Good luck, and happy hunting.